morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Going to be honest, I'm wondering how I'm going to fit it all in today. Obviously, we've got today's show to get through. Take care of that. Then a bit later in the day, I'm taking part in a ConExpo or a pre-ConExpo press conference with the fine folks over at Volvo Construction Equipment. Then, just as I probably need a long lie down in a dark room, I'll be back here to present our Predictions 2023 show this evening, 7 p.m. this evening. Hope you can join us for that. You may have to treat me a little bit more gently tomorrow, as I think I may be a little bit fragile by then. There's a lot to get through today, and there's a lot to get through on today's show as well. So without further ado, let me roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It is Wednesday, the 18th of January, and as that remarkably persistent guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, a Doosan by any other name would still be pretty awesome, actually. SMT GB enters the machine control arena with a Great Dane, and JCB turns the tide in the fight against the nation's potholes. Plus, little quiz for you. How many wheels does a wheeled excavator have? That'll make more sense a bit later in the show. We're going to get to all of that in just a second. But first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to Winnie the Pooh author A.A. Milne and to Swallows and Amazons author Arthur Ransom. Happy birthday also to the larger half of the greatest comedy duo of all time, Oliver Hardy, to screen idol Cary Grant, actor and comedian Danny Kaye, TV botanist David Bellamy, and to the inventor of the Dolby Noise Reduction audio system, which I have playing in my ears-ish, Ray Dolby, to actor Kevin Costner, Tom Bailey from the Thompson Twins, actor Mark Rylance, soccer star Peter Beardsley, and to wrestler turned actor Dave Bautista. Been some confusion this morning. Gary Muirhead notified me that it was apparently the birthday of Suggs from Madness. I checked. It isn't. However, it was last week, so happy birthday, Suggs. But also, I was sat scrolling through YouTube yesterday. There is a series. If you're a person of a certain age, and that will come into play a bit later in the show as well, if you're a person of a certain age and you remember the late 70s, early 80s, there is a Madness documentary series called Before We Was We. Really good, really insightful, and quite good fun as well. So if you fancy that, but it's not Suggs' birthday. Right, on with the show. We knew it was coming, but it is finally here. Hyundai Doosan Infracore, or HDI as they're known, is replacing the Doosan brand of its construction equipment and introducing a brand new brand called, I'm going to try and get this right because they haven't actually told us exactly how to pronounce it, but it is Devolon or Devolon or Devolon. Let's go Devolon. And I'm going with Devolon because apparently Devolon is a combination of the words develop and onwards. So I'm reliably informed. The statement says, with the change of the brand name, the new Devolon decal will be used on HDI's construction equipment. That statement goes on to say the new brand name conveys the direction of HDI to move onwards to the future through innovation and its intention to relentlessly change the world with innovative products and solutions. HDI has apparently plans the launch of the new brand since it became a subsidiary of HD Hyundai in August 2021. It plans to take a leap forward to becoming a global top-tier player in the construction equipment industry with the launch of the new brand. HDI plans to introduce a more detailed brand story and vision, releasing a new brand showcase through social media by the end of February. Let's take that off the screen. But don't forget Devolon. The company is also planning to unveil equipment with the new Demolition brand at ConExpo. So looking forward to seeing that. That's going to be held in Las Vegas in the US in March, 14th to the 18th of March. So there you have it, folks. Henceforth, Doosan will be known as Demolition. It's going to take some getting used to. Mind you, this is not Doosan's first rodeo when it comes to name changes. Those of us of a certain vintage will recall the switch from Daewoo or Daewoo to Doosan back in 2005. Does anyone remember that? Now, if you would like to know more about Demolition, the company has set up a dedicated website to accompany the announcement. You can find the link in the chat, which I'm going to post while I'm doing this. See, now I thought the name Demolition reminded me of something, and Mr. Drew, as he always does, clarified. Reminds me of Devon, and I can't get Brian Ferry's song Avalon out of my head. Somebody at Demolition or at HDI needs to go back to the mid-80s, dig out Avalon by Brian Ferry and remix it to Demolition. I'd love to hear that. Now, another development in the field of construction equipment. SMT GB, the UK's sole importer of Volvo construction equipment, has been officially appointed as the Unicontrol distributor for the whole of Great Britain. The Unicontrol machine control system combines advanced GPS and 3D modelling to provide accurate information on dig depths, grades and shapes for the operator to work to. And this is what Unicontrol looks like. Yeah, SMT GB says the system provides a cost-effective 3D machine control system that can be retrofitted to the majority of construction equipment products. Apparently, the Danish team behind Unicontrol will be at ConExpo, so I'll be trying to find out more. I have to say they were a new name to me, but I can't keep my finger on all the pulses all the time. But yeah, I'll be checking them out over at ConExpo. Now, bit of this. Yeah, our question of the day today is proving very, very divisive. It has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with demolition or construction. But do you think pizza or do you think pineapple belongs on pizza? Yeah, very, very distinct schools of thought on that one. We'll come back to that a bit later in the show. Now, you might recall that we were among the very first to bring you the news that the fine folks at JCB were taking the fight to that scourge of British roads, the pothole, with the Pothole Pro version of its famous backhoe loader. In the week that marked National Pothole Day, yep, there really is a day for everything, isn't there? JCB has unveiled a new video of the aforementioned Pothole Pro in action.
My name is Glenn Carruthers. I'm the Managing Director of Doosan Group EMC. I've been with the business around 16 years. Everyone who drives a car, motorbike, has this same problem. They'll hit a pothole and it causes accidents, causes damage. These are all costs that local authorities have to bear. We as a business invested in the Pothole Pro from JCB about 5 months ago now. And the reason was because of the major problems that potholes are causing throughout the UK's highways.
I'm Kevin Buttercase of I&K Buttercase, predominantly agricultural contractors, bit of plant hire, and now new to us is the Pothole Pro for repairing some of these disastrous road conditions. The roads are in quite a dire condition. The last cold spell in particular, with the frost and the water, you know, it bursts it up even worse.
Doosan Group EMC are JCB's official rental partner for the Pothole Pro. Hiring the Pothole Pro is often a better option for the customer. The reason for this is there's no capital outlay, which at the moment in the current crisis, a lot of people are looking not to do that. They've also got the backup service and support by both Doosan Group EMC and JCB. Customers are able to rent a machine from as little as 1 week up to 5 years if they require.
Doosan's Group was a safer option initially to see how this was going to pan out, to see how it would progress, and it was as simple as that. We opted to try to diversify to keep us occupied through the winter months, and seen a market with the Pothole Pro, obviously with the bad road conditions, so that we're obviously able to cover a much larger area than what they're manually able to do themselves. The efficiency of that machine compared to the handheld methods that they were using previously is just phenomenal. It's incredible the amount that you can do in one day.
One of the key features of the Pothole Pro is the training that JCB supply. Our customers are really welcoming this training. Due to the training, our customers are telling us that the Pothole Pro is becoming really easy to use and really efficient.
Richard's, the training that he provided, his experience from an operator standpoint was invaluable. There were a lot of tips and tricks and secrets to the machine that you're maybe not just aware of initially. Obviously, it's just standard excavator controls to a degree with the steel wrist combination, but there's several buttons inside that control the planer as well. That's a bit of a daunting. Richard explained it in quite a logical and informative, easy way that I was able to pretty much pick it up initially really quickly. Once you get into the way of the machine, it is relatively simple, it's comfortable.
Our customers are always asking us about health and safety and how we can help them to be better on site and look after their staff better whilst operating machinery. The old way of fixing potholes is very labour intensive, with health problems. There's more than one operator around the site using dangerous machinery on roads that are often working, having working traffic on them. The JCB Pothole Pro eliminates all these problems. So as a solution for our customers, we've invested in this product because of the health and safety.
The visibility of the machine's quite, it's phenomenal. And obviously you've got a camera there as well, pointing rearwards, so you're pretty much 360 vision all the time. In comparison to other machines, it's leagues ahead in that respect. Yeah. Going forward, the machine, the versatility that's available there with it is quite incredible. If it's not going to be required for the potholes in the summer months, for example, then we could pick up a normal bucket there. We could be doing ditching works. There's potential for a snowplough for snow clearing in the winter time. There's we could have a flail on it and tidying up the hedgerows and verges, things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's limitless what you can actually do with the machine.
We're so impressed with the JCB product, we've ordered an additional 5 machines, which will double the size of our fleet within a 5-month period. The reason why we've invested in this product is predominantly it matches our smarter asset strategy. As we further develop our product portfolio at Doosan Group EMC, JCB will be a key supplier for our future growth and to help us provide solutions to our customers' needs, which is massively important. And JCB are fast becoming a key supplier to the Doosan Group as a whole.
Good to see. Had a couple of comments in on the Pothole Pro. Let's have a look. First off, Steve Williamson says, I see what they're trying to do with that Pothole Pro machine. When you see them working, the tilt rotator of that huge attachment doesn't look great. Looks a heavy bit of kit. I've seen one up close. Didn't strike me that way, but listen, each to their own. Gary Muirhead says, can everyone understand the Scottish operator? I had no problem whatsoever, Gary. Most of the time. but thank you for asking. Right now, I do have another item. I tell you what, let me roll this first, and then we'll come back to try and get this show back on the road.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
So before we get back to the show, just a very quick recap. You may recall that we reported, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, the fact that there'd been an accident involving a double-decker bus carrying construction workers to the Hinkley Point site down in, where is that? Somerset, thereabouts. The fine folks at Construction Inquirer have now produced a bunch of photographs showing the aftermath of that accident. Not too graphic, so don't worry about that. So here, very quickly, let's have a very quick look at that. I'm going to throw it up to that size, and then I'm going to go over here and I'll scroll through. That's the bus, obviously, you can see there laying on its side with rescue workers in attendance. That is what it looked like inside. Obviously, lying on its side, people stood on the windows trying to make their way out. There's more of people trying to make their way out there. And that's the rescue workers as well. And that, as you can see, is the bus itself. I'm going to stop sharing that now. Get rid of that. There's been no reports of serious accident. Let me try that again. There's been no reports of serious injuries, but we will keep you posted on that just as soon as we get that information through. So before I sign off for today and go and make ready for tonight's predictions 2023 Flight of Fancy, just one final thing. If I asked you to draw a wheeled excavator, you'd probably draw something with a cab, an upper structure, a boom, a dipper, and a bucket, all stood on a pair of axles with a wheel at each corner. Sounds about right? Well, not necessarily. Yep, somewhere in the world there is a triaxial rubber duck. What a time to be alive.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. More to come this evening, but I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around for that, please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll see you on the other side of this for the Craic. How are you? Cold one, I would imagine. Certainly cold here. Let's get back to the chat. Because it's fresh in everyone's mind, I'm going to throw that one up. Just don't see the point of that rubber duck. I liked it from a novelty perspective, but the tool called for lower ground pressure. If you're really concerned about low ground pressure, surely you'd go for a track machine with wide tracks. I don't get it. But hey, listen, that's never stopped me bringing stuff to you before. Right, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the chat. Gary was actually the first off the mark this morning, so good morning, Gary, and good morning, gang, as Gary rightly says. Now, his ears must have been burning, because the second person in the chat this morning is our friend James Doble. We were only talking about you yesterday, James, and about the fact that we hadn't seen your smiling face on the show recently. Glad to have you back, my friend. I hope you're fit and well. It is a cold morning, but good morning, good morning. Steve Williamson is here. We'll be hearing more from Steve in just a second. I fear I may have to block Steve, given his comment a bit later on, which proves that he is basically a monster, but we'll come back to that in a second. Gary Muirhead is planning to be here tonight, so I won't be talking to myself at all then, which is always a good thing to hear. Peter Ferguson's here as well. Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. Good morning indeed. My question of the day, which, as you're about to hear, is going to be somewhat divisive: pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Jim Turner's here as well. Good morning to you, Jim. Steve Williamson kicks things off with question of the day: no, 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 no. So to begin with, Steve and I are at odds. We disagree on this subject. Jim Turner, definitely no pizza. Definitely no pineapple or pizza. Although I'm a greedy fat bastard, I'll eat a pizza with it on if that's all there is. I would actually choose to have pineapple on pizza, but that we'll come back to that. There's Nick Drew's comment on the Demolition machine. Get Brian Ferry to do the advert. That's what I say. Gary Muirhead, pizza, pineapple on pizza. Yes, it's part of your 5 a day. I believe entirely. Ken Hatcher's with us as well. It looks like he's got cloud, he's got freezing cold conditions, he's got a bit of sunshine, and then it's chucking it down as well. So there you are. Brand name changes are always a funny affair, but we'll get used to it, of course. Yeah, well, we certainly got used to the switch from Daewoo to Doosan. I'm sure we'll come to love Demolition in the fullness of time. Still have a bit of a question mark about name changes. I was very closely linked with Rammer when Rammer basically dropped the Rammer name and it was absorbed into Sandvik, and it was about 2 or 3 years later that the fine folks at Sandvik basically did a U-turn, because they realised that everybody knew Rammer for Rammer, and that was the name that everybody liked, and so Rammer came back. I'm sure that won't be the case with Demolition. And I think the separation between Hyundai and Doosan, maybe it does need a name change, but be interested to see the way that goes. Mick Dalton's in the house. Morning, Mick. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Our friend Mr. Brock, Jeff Pinion. Good morning, Mark. Morning, Jeff. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Mr. Haddock is in the house, who says, really looking forward to seeing the new Demolition brand at ConExpo. As am I. When I saw the logo and when I saw the name, obviously, the first time you see it, you kind of have your reservations. And I was expecting something a bit more exciting logo-wise, but you don't know until you see it on a machine, and it might just pop. It really might just pop. I was told many years ago by a graphic designer, in order for you to really judge a design, you need to put it on a business card and on the side of a machine. And if it works on both, you've hit the nail on the head. So let's see how that Demolition one works out. Rob Thompson's with us as well. Good morning, Rob. Yes, I enjoy pineapple on pizza, as every right-minded person should. Peter Haddock says Pothole Pro is such an innovative product. It really is. It really is. It strikes me as, you remember, I don't know if these still exist in France. It's a long while since I travelled through France. Do you remember there used to be restaurants in France that only had one thing on the menu, but they did that thing really, really well? That, to my mind, is the Pothole Pro. And I know the guys on the video there were saying, you can put snowplow attachments. But to have taken a look at the pothole scourge of the UK's roads network, and say, okay, we're going to dedicate a machine that does that, and it does it extraordinarily well. It's the way forward, I say. So this is where me and Steve Williamson part company. Pineapple, no. But the spicy banana pizza is the dog's. A spicy banana pizza. First of all, how on earth did you come to be ordering that in the first place? And second of all, it sounds like you've done it more. Steve, what kind of a monster are you? Having said all that, you will love ConExpo. I went to ConExpo probably 3 ConExpos ago, and I was staying in the same hotel. I was staying in the Luxor, which is where I'm staying this time as well. Just around the corner, there was a Denny's diner, and I went there for breakfast one morning, and I had my pancakes and my maple syrup and my funny American bacon on the side. Looked to my left, and there was a woman. This is about 8 o'clock in the morning. There was a woman eating an ice cream sundae with bacon in it for breakfast. So Steve, you're going to love Las Vegas. You're going to fit right in with the locals over there. Yes, thank you very much indeed. Our moderator Fred has just said, if you'd like to know more about the old Pothole Pro, or if you'd like to see more from JCB, actually, go take a look at the playlist over on, I'm guessing that's probably Diggers and Dozers. He does a bit of self-promotion on the show, you see, that's what it is. Yes, Ken Hatcher, who is a bit of a pizza aficionado, love pineapple on pizza, as rightly should. Steve Williamson, we're going back to that. I personally, I didn't have a major issue with the aesthetics, but if anybody does, listen, you're with Steve. But let's not forget, this is a man that likes a spicy banana pizza. I think we need to take his opinion with a dose of salt. Let's have a look. Can everyone understand the Scottish operator? Gary, you and I have spoken. I can understand you, and therefore he was no issue whatsoever. Not so much Nick Drew, who says he's struggling. You're being unfair, guys. I thought he was absolutely fine. Lou Carney. Lou Carney obviously likes to sit on the fence on these subjects. Question of the day: pineapple people should be put in jail. Not thrown off a cliff. You're just going easy on them this morning, are you, Lou? Thank you very much indeed for that. Unfortunately, looks like I'm heading for jail in that case. Pothole Pro looks good. Be handy if local councils could take it up. Yeah, funnily enough, while I was watching that, and obviously it's not the first time any of us have seen the Pothole Pro, but I was sat there watching that, thinking about the condition of the roads around where I live. Here in affluent, leafy Surrey, we are pothole central, trust me. The road I live in has potholes. The road that leads to the road that I live in has potholes. You might recall that when we spoke first about the Pothole Pro, myself and Fred took ourselves off to film a bit of an introduction, which you can find over probably on Diggers and Dozers, I would imagine. And we actually went to the road that leads to my sister-in-law's house, which has got potholes so deep you can swim in the damn things. I'm exaggerating just a little bit for effect, but no, Surrey has more than its fair share of potholes. Surrey County Council, I realise you listen intently to every episode of this show. Go get yourself a fleet of Pothole Pro machines. We will love you forever. Rob Thompson, correct. Needs a good operator on it, mind. Yeah, it really does. It is a multifaceted machine. Going back to what I was saying about restaurants that specialise in one thing, that machine is a Swiss Army knife. It does a multitude of things. You would need the proper training on it. But once you're trained on it, you've got a very, very fast solution to potholes. Question of the day. I should throw out these random questions a bit more often. Question of the day. Pineapple on gammon steaks and pizza. Yummy scrummy. Yummy scrummy, says Peter Ferguson, who obviously is 6 years old. And Jim Turner. That would act more like a track machine on the soft stuff than a traditional duck does. Yeah, that goes back to the triaxle wheeled excavator. Never seen the like. Possibly good for good reason. I'm going to treat you very gently, but we do have a few people of a certain age in this audience, self included. Does anyone remember? I'm going to take a wild stab and say it was around about the late 70s that there was actually a 6-wheel Formula One car. Anyone remember that? I'm fairly sure. Trying to picture it in my head. I'm fairly sure, I'm not entirely sure who actually manufactured the car itself, but I'm fairly sure it was sponsored by JPS, John Player Specials, the cigarette company. Obviously we don't tend to allow that kind of thing these days, which is why it was probably way back when. But there was, I promise, if I'd have thought about this before I'd have been prepared, but I promise there was a 6-wheel Formula One car. Can't remember what the purpose of that one was either. Nick Norton says, on the potholes, any repairs for local councils are cost prohibitive in the current climate. For certain locations, only a temporary repair is possible to make a pothole safe until a planned permanent repair can be made. The JCB concept is admirable, but probably out of the financial reach of many local councils at present. You're absolutely right. But here is what changes things. Here is where the switch comes. There is a countdown to a local or a general election. And all of a sudden, that knob turns and what was previously prohibitively expensive suddenly becomes affordable. Because as we've reported in the past, fixing potholes wins votes. You see, all these build back better and all that nonsense. Never mind that. Stand on a platform, a politician standing on a platform of fixing the nation's potholes. You heard it here first. Just don't see the point of that rubber duck, me either, but then it was destined for the forestry sector, which is, it's over there. I occasionally take a glimpse, realise I don't understand what I'm looking at, and then I take a big step backwards. But yeah, it is a weird one. Faster above ground speed with tires and tracks. That's a good point. That is a good point. Let's have a look. McNaughton, did everyone know the battery making plant in the northeast folded yesterday while down under in Oz? A $300 million facility gets the thumbs up. Why do we continually seem to be behind everyone else? That is the British way, I'm afraid. I refer to this so often, not because I'm a Boris Johnson fan, not because I particularly wanted to see the construction of an island in the Thames estuary, but that whole story of the notion of, rather than putting an additional runway at Gatwick or at Heathrow, putting it on what was nicknamed Boris Island down in the Thames estuary, creating jobs, taking air traffic away from the nation's capital for safety reasons and emissions reasons and all that kind of thing, and dismissed as overly ambitious. And that, unfortunately, sums up the British mentality at the moment. And this, let's not forget, was the same nation that started work on the Channel Tunnel and the London Underground while Queen Victoria was still sat on the throne, when people were still moseying about on horse and cart. The Victorians had the foresight for a Channel Tunnel and for the London Underground network. And today, we need 6 months of planning to approve the repair of a pothole. Makes me so bloody angry, to be honest. I didn't realise it was going to be this divisive. Pineapple on pizza would make a vulture throw up. Listen, my understanding of the metabolism of a vulture is quite limited. I'll be the first to admit that, but I very much doubt it. Yeah, I've got a funny feeling a vulture would be licking its lips were it to be given lips to lick. Honestly, till you try a banana pizza, you'll think, WTF, I'm going to go with. Our chef, when I was offshore, made it, and everyone was like, what the hell? Everyone tried it, and it was a big hit. I wonder, we have lots of pizza delivery places around here. I wonder if any of them do a spicy banana pizza. I wonder. Now, funnily enough, one of my best friends when I was growing up was of Indian descent, and I do remember his mum making absolutely mind-blowing, in all senses of the word, banana curry. Very unripe bananas, so you know how I like to eat them, green, so you're effectively crunching on banana. Listen, don't shoot me. Yeah, she took these underripe bananas in a really, really blow your head off spicy sauce. You have to try it. The Scottish Duck Man was easy to understand. That's how he's known now. That he is the Scottish Duck Man. Reminds me of the joke about the blind man knocks on the ladies' bathroom door. I'll leave you to fill in the blank. Kenneth Hatcher, as long as you get a good teacher for training plenty of potholes to practice on. That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. But there again, I wonder, do we have the same situation in the training of pothole operatives that we have on training high reach operatives? Would a local council allow you to train an operative to use the Pothole Pro on an active carriageway, or would they have to go and find a car park with potholes, put up a huge hoarding, warning signs, beacons, advance notice to anybody using the car park, possibly a policeman on standby before somebody can get behind the controls and do a bit of practice? More of the British bureaucracy gone mad, I'm afraid. Question of the day: pineapple only belongs on gammon, but I don't necessarily argue with that, James. But if you are having ham on pizza and you then add pineapple to it, what's the difference? Gammon, ham, potato, surely. I won't order pineapple on pizza, but I'm fine with eating it. Yeah. You're like those cafes in Amsterdam that will not sell you a joint, but they're quite happy if you order one. Yeah, I get the idea. Yes, my mate had a Skelectric one. I think it was a Ford. Yeah. Just to thank you for that, Jim. We're talking about the 6-wheel Formula One car, and I'm fairly sure. God, I'm racking my brains now. I'm fairly sure that is why it's stuck in my head. I'm fairly sure I had one as well. Unfortunately, no way of checking that. There you are. Nick Norton's 6-wheeler was a Tyrrell P34. There you are. I wasn't making things up. Although I'm too young to remember the real thing racing. We'll take your word for it, Jim. Honestly, we will. What about a seafood pizza? This is where we lose our entire Italian audience. Yeah, I'm fine with that. There was a bit of a shake-up in the company that I used to work for, Reed Business Publishing as it was back then. And I was relocated from Sutton in Surrey to Wallington, a couple of miles down the road. And we had a fairly small office. The office in Sutton was like 19 stories high, filled with magazines of the varying Farmers Weekly and Nursing Mirror and people like that. But we were moved down to a place called Carew House over in Wallington in Surrey. And Sutton was rammed with bars and restaurants. Wallington was somewhat limited. But there was a place close by that did a very good homemade pizza. And my personal favourite for the entire time I was there, which was about 2.5 years, I suppose, I spent at Craic House. Prawn and onion pizza. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Better than it sounds. Oh well, my pickled eggs in a bag of Greek crisps. How are you people all still alive? Has nutrition completely bypassed you people? Wow. I've not eaten a pickled egg since I was about 14, and I did it as a dare on the way back from an away football game that I've been playing in. And we stopped at a fish and chip shop, and all my friends dared me to eat a pickled egg, and being 14 and stupid, I ate a pickled. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. But yes, there you are. It's a big no for me. Love pineapple as a dessert or in a stir fry, but it should never be on a pizza. I just refuse to take nutritional or cuisine advice from Nick Drew. If you imagine, hang on, let me get my hands right. That one. Trying to do this is really hard. That we go. So if you imagine, there we go. If you imagine that is the food spectrum that includes everything from roast beef or Yorkshire pudding to the hottest Thai curry in the world to Brussels sprouts and all points in between, right? That's the spectrum. I'm about to demonstrate the amount of food that Nick Drew eats. There you go. Well, I remember, and don't take this personally, Nick, each to their own, but I remember being sat on a beach in Malaga with Messrs. Drew, Messrs. Haddock, and Messrs. Graham Black, and Justin Carrigan over at Paulson Earthwood. And we were sat in this little beachside bar that had an outdoor barbecue. And there was a guy walking up the beach, literally out of the sea. He was still dripping wet, and he was fetching with him prawns and squid and mussels and Lord alone knows what else. They were dumped on the barbecue and then they were thrown on our table. And myself and Peter Haddock basically ate our own body weight in little baby squid, deep fried baby squid. Nick Drew ordered the burger. So, I mean, I'm astonished to find that Nick even eats a stir fry. That's how bad he is. But okay, I'll go with that. Yes. I remember it well too, Nick. It was a great day actually. In fact, it was a very good trip. We were there with Caterpillar, and I know we did that on the day we arrived. And on the day we were all due to leave, we went to a steak restaurant on a jetty that sort of leads out to the sea. Fantastic time, really good fun. Jesus, Nick, the vulture just passed out. Never had a seafood pizza, but a grilled octopus on pizza would be nice. So, I've got hours yet. So, years and years ago, I was working with Caterpillar. Myself and my colleague, sadly no longer with us, were responsible for producing the Caterpillar magazine for a number of years. And that required either him or I to go and travel around bits of Europe and Middle East and Africa. And on one occasion I was sent off to Italy, about 3-4 days I think it was, and to go around with one of the Italian, the local dealer salesman, who was taking me to visit various customers to see how they were using Caterpillar equipment, the benefits they were seeing from it. And I was reporting on it, taking photographs. This is pre-video days and everything else. On the way back to the airport, he said that he was going to take me for a meal, a bit of lunch down by the sea. Wish I'd taken note of where it was, but we made our way basically down to the sea. We ended up at a restaurant. I say it was a restaurant. It was more like a house on the beach, in a little bay. And we sat down and literally sat on the sand. Both of us were wearing suits. Him because he was in Italian, me because I was on business. But we both kicked our shoes and socks off, feet in the sand, The sea is playing away by the side of us, and we both ordered an octopus salad. I have to say, one of the most memorable meals of my entire life. It was tremendous. But the bit that really does it for me, we were sat there, both had a really, really cold glass of white wine back in my drinking days, eating octopus salad. The sun was beating down. The two of us had loosened our ties, and it was just me and my new Italian friend just chilling out. And I was sat there thinking to myself, life really doesn't get any better than this. And just as that thought went through my head, a dolphin jumped out the water. And that is absolutely true. It's just an incredibly... And the two of us just looked at each other and smiled. So yes, octopus salad brings back very, very good memories for me. If you eat and drink in moderation, you'll go to... Well, I think I'm destined for that anyway, so I can probably do what I damn well please now. So, where are we with all of this? I've got this Volvo pre-ConExpo press conference at 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's UK time, obviously. So it'll be early hours of the morning, or early-ish hours of the morning over in the States. So we're going to find out exactly what it is that Volvo will have up their collective sleeves by the time we get to ConExpo in March. And then at 7 o'clock, we are going to make our predictions. I won't cheat. I won't hold back the information about Volvo and then put it in the show and pretend I thought of it. I promise I won't do that. I have got to rewrite tonight's show a little bit because Al Grierson actually predicted the name change for, or the brand change for Doosan, and that's in the show. It's happened. We can't use that as a prediction anymore. I may keep in reference to it, but I can't have that as a prediction anymore. And just to let you know the way this is going to work, so I really would appreciate your input if you are available. We're going to take my predictions, and I think there's 5 or 6 of those. But we're also going to pick the best or the most outlandish from the chat as well. We're going to take all of those, put them in something like a time capsule, an electronic time capsule, and then on the 13th of December, which is roughly 11 months from now, I'm going to open that time capsule. We're going to go live again in the run-up to Christmas this year, and we'll see just how close we got. As I say, I've come up with 5 or 6. There's a couple I think I'm in with a good shout. There's a couple I'm a bit maybe, and there's a couple more that I think if that comes up I'll be astonished. But tune in tonight at 7 p.m. And let us have your predictions. And we're trying to be as really specific as we can. I think we all know that the year is going to be tough, so don't predict recession, because I think we all know that. Don't predict more in the way of job losses and insolvencies. We know that. Don't predict a shortfall in skills. We know that. What I'm looking for is if you've got an inkling that, let's say, if you have an inkling that Demolition, the new name of Doosan, will arrive at ConExpo with let me think, what would be really ridiculous? An underwater dozer. I don't know where that came from. Too many Thunderbirds episodes, possibly. If you think they're going to arrive at ConExpo with an underwater dozer, let us know in the chat tonight. If you have an inkling of a new machine that's coming down the line, if you have an inkling of a machine of a company takeover within the field of demolition or construction equipment, if you think there is going to be a startling new development coming from overseas, maybe, like for example, are we going to see John Deere pitch up anytime soon in the construction equipment field here in the UK? If you think that's a likely scenario, please let us have it in the chat tonight. That is wherever you're watching this, so if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, at 7 p.m. tonight. It's also going to be broadcast over on demolitionnews.com as well. The only problem with demolitionnews.com, you can't comment there. So you have to be watching on one of the social media platforms. in order to do that. But that should just about do us. As I say, going to go and get myself prepared for this press conference this afternoon, then go down for a lie down in a dark room, get my strength back, because as everyone knows, I have been a poorly sausage recently, but then at 7 o'clock tonight we'll be back, all guns blazing, for Predictions 2023. Till then, everybody, have a fantastic day. Try to learn the word Devilon. Do yourself a favour, go and order a pizza with pineapple on it. Do not follow Steve Williamson's advice and order a spicy banana pizza, regardless of what he tells you. There's a reason it's offshore, Steve. That's where it belongs. Until tonight, and then until tomorrow, have a great day, everyone. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks for taking part. All the very best.